Let's talk about disruption. Here in Silicon Valley, that word is used pretty generously to the point where its true meaning is watered down. But when we look at the impact of COVID-19, it's hard to describe this pandemic as anything other than pure disruption. Hi, I'm Corinna DalColletto. Thank you for joining me and my colleague Kevin Maufer today.
Thanks, Corinna. Both of us are on the front lines of supporting customers throughout their life cycle, from onboarding and implementation through adoption and value realization. And our goal today is to share some of what we're seeing in the field. Over the last 6 months, we've watched entire industries succumb to the relentless pressure of the pandemic. We've also seen technologies like AI and automation really take center stage as field service organizations look for ways to maintain critical infrastructure and protect their workers.
Yeah, and no matter what course this virus takes next, it's difficult to imagine going back to the old way of doing things. Everyone's talking about the new normal and what that means for the future of work. And one thing's clear. Across so many different industries, the new normal is headed towards a more touchless experience that prioritizes safety and efficiency.
That's right. And if you think about it, the touchless experience is growing across many different businesses, from the checkout line at your favorite retailer or grocery store to home delivery or curbside pickup at restaurants to banking and essential home services. And these days, amidst ongoing change, there are realistically two kinds of touchless field service. There's the socially distanced, contactless version we've seen in response to the pandemic. For the most part, the focus has been on minimizing person-to-person interaction and automating routine tasks. And then there's also self-service, whether it's digitizing closeout packages to avoid handling paper documents, or there's one utility, for example, in Australia that's enabling their customers to automatically toggle their service on or off with the help of a chatbot. And the bottom line is organizations are really looking for quick workarounds to their current standard operating procedures.
Absolutely. And there's also another longer term vision of touchless field service that relies on AI and machine learning to drive intelligent automation. Now, getting there is a bit of a journey, but what it allows teams to do is it allows them to pivot from a more manual, reactive approach to field service to being more proactive, automated, and better equipped to handle workforce disruption.
Yeah, and even in a pandemic, though, the daily responsibilities for field service teams are more or less the same. But what has changed is the ability to streamline some of the tasks. An example would be accelerating reactive maintenance, being that the customer experience has really become a top priority in field service. To stay ahead of breakdowns, organizations are leaning on technology like IoT sensors to provide a real-time picture of what's happening in the field. Increased visibility and the right tools make it possible to help customers solve the problems themselves, or automatically dispatch a nearby technician with the right skills and the parts to solve the problem. And we're also seeing customers factoring in other considerations. For example, we recently launched a joint digital solution with our partner TCS that allows for more flexibility in scheduling and dispatching to factor in social distancing and safety precautions. What else have we seen from your perspective, Corinna?
Even with planned maintenance, teams have an opportunity to use AI and machine learning to drive smarter automation, which is incredibly important, especially today as we see workforces stretched thin and technician hours at an all-time premium. So let's take an example. Drones can be used for planned inspection of assets across a number of industries, from utilities to oil and gas. So instead of sending a technician to a remote, often dangerous location, the inspection can actually be handled automatically. And on the back end, AI can compare the captured video against its digital twin and automatically detect anomalies and give teams the ability to execute truly touchless field service.
Yeah, I love the use of drones rather than sending a technician up climbing a tall tower like a wind turbine. Um, and in order to break away from reactive maintenance, organizations need to be able to predict issues ahead of time. With the predictive maintenance, field service organizations can drive asset uptime and reduce the need for on-site visits, whether it's for breakdown repairs or annualized maintenance checks that only confirm that the asset is still in good working order. As we head into 2021, we'll see more use cases for preventative maintenance, with predictive maintenance emerging as the next logical step. IoT and 5G will enable this trend further, and we will see this gather momentum over the next year.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about how intelligent automation is stepping in to support workforces in this new normal in the field. Now, most of the automation we see today is rules-based as opposed to being truly intelligent. What does that mean? Rules-based automation is when a system will follow a predefined path, never deviating from the script. It's efficient, but it requires constant input from a second source. And as soon as anything changes, it breaks. Now, the goal with intelligent automation is to have input from multiple sources, train AI models that can analyze real-time data, real-time events, and respond accordingly.
Yeah, but this is not an overnight fix by any means. Organizations cannot simply flip a switch and start automating their operations. I mean, it takes time. It takes time to ensure the right systems and integrations are in place. But the overarching goal should be to lay the foundation to enable this kind of change.
We can see that COVID-19 has pushed field teams in 100 different directions, from social distancing, contact tracing, staggering shifts to protect workers and prevent outbreaks. And while we might all feel like it's been 6 months of reacting and adapting, we've also learned a few key lessons. First, field service needs to be more flexible, especially with the unexpected right around the corner. Second, people might be our greatest capital, but they cannot be our only currency. And third, AI and intelligent automation enables us to build field service operations where success is not dictated by 24/7 access to a manual workforce.
Agreed. Well, for field service leaders, the next step is taking a critical look at their current processes and their organization's ability to capture real-time data at scale. From there, they can start to identify areas for intelligent automation to deliver a touchless experience. And then, in fact, a recent Gartner research showed that 23% of surveyed customers are already scheduling some field service work automatically. And we believe that this number will continue to grow rapidly as we learn more throughout this pandemic. And this ultimately sets the stage for intelligent field service automation being a mandate in 2021. Thank you for joining us today and on this journey toward a more touchless and automated world. There will be a separate Q&A feature for this session for your questions, and we are happy to follow up with you after the event.